So now we just need to kind of have the drawer here to kind of open and close it, right? So that's what we're going to do this lesson. We're going to try and make an event so that we can open and close the navbar right here. Let's try and go back to the sidenav. Now it seems there's actually a method on the sidenav called toggle that we can use. But in order to do that, we have to get two components to actually start communicating. So that's what I'm going to try and show you guys this lesson, how we can make components talk to each other. There's a few things I want to show you guys. First off, let me actually try and make a button right here that we can click to kind of open and close the drawer, right? That's going to be our first step. So let's jump into buttons right here and see how we can create a button and what button we want actually. So I'm going to first of all find the buttons down here, and there's a few, if you go to examples, there's a few buttons to pick from. I want it to be something like a mini fab button like this. I just think they look cool. Let's go and grab one, and I'm just going to scroll down here. There's one where they're actually using an icon right here. I want to try and use that one. So I'm grabbing that minifab and I'm copying it right here. And let's put it into our code, into the toolbar, and right before the span that actually writes Trine's hair salon, I'll add this minifab. I don't want the label to be this big. I just want to say toggle nav, something like this. Maybe lowercase instead. And maybe write it in the correct spelling. There we go, toggle nav. This is just, if you mouse over you can see that, and the final thing I want to do is I want to use a mat icon now. And what do I need to do to use a mat icon? Well, I need a new module. So there's actually one called mat icon module. There we go. I'll add that one to start using the icons, and then I also need to find a good icon for this drawer right here. Let me just get this done. There we go. So let's actually try and go into the view right here again. Now, right now they're using the favorite icon. I want to pick one of the other ones. So I went into Material IO and found their different icons under resources. So I just want to find something that's kind of a default lines like we normally have. Yeah, something like this. Let's just take the reorder run. It's really not important in this case. So I just want to try and put that in there. So let's go back to the toolbar, and instead of favorite, I want to use the icon called reorder. There we go. Let's try and have a look in our hairdresser salon now. You'll notice right here it seems to be working, but you'll notice that it's still a pretty ugly button. It doesn't seem that it's working. Let's try and go back. The reason is, of course, I also need the button module. So mat button module, I need that as well to start using buttons. Makes perfect sense. Going back, and there we go. Now it should actually, if we refresh, right after the restart, you'll see that now it's actually a button right here that I can click. It doesn't do anything yet, but it's a button, and it doesn't look that tiny to me. Mat fab, oh, it's because I used the wrong one. I want to use mat minifab. Minifab, there we go. And now you'll notice it gets a bit smaller right here. We don't have any margin. We can just add that right here as well, just to kind of make it even better. I'll just add a small margin right here to get moving, and later we'll look at the styling. Margin left 5 pixels. There we go. Now it's not a good idea to do inline styling, I know, but I just want to show you guys a running button right here that you can now kind of show the menu with. And again, if you wanted to look at, this is how it would look on a smaller browser. I'm just zooming so you guys can actually see it properly. Now the final thing I want to do is when I click this, I want to show this guy, right? So I'm going to make an event actually. So when I do the click on the button right here, click, I'm going to add a normal function, toggle nav, something like this. I'll make that function, oh, double O again. Google, you made me write double O on everything. Thank you. So I'll go back to the toolbar and I'll create this toggle right here. Now, in order to make I want to be able to listen for this event from outside the component. You can actually do that by using an output in a component. So let me try and show you that. I'm going to do an @ sign. I'm going to call it output right here. Output. And there we go. Now with the output right here, I can actually start setting up so that I can listen for events from inside the component. So an output needs some kind of event emitter. So I'll say toggle clicked. And that's going to be equal to a new event emitter. There we go. And all of this is of course available in the documentation if you want to check that out. So now I can actually say when I toggle the nav bar, I can say toggle clicked, and I can actually call that right here. event emitter this dot toggle clicked dot emit. And right now I don't want to send anything. I just want to explain to whoever's listening that the toggle was just clicked right here. There we go. So it says unused method. That doesn't make any sense at all. Oh, that's of course because I have to kind of put this in parentheses as well. Now it uses the toggle nav right here, and then it emits to this guy, and then we can listen in our main component for events, just like you're doing right here. So again, have a look right here. The click event is actually also just an event. So what we did was we made something similar in our own component now, so that we can actually listen for toggle clicked event outside inside the app component HTML. Actually, we can actually now we have a new one here called toggle clicked. And that means now we can listen when I click a button in the toolbar, I want to expand the side nav. Okay, so let's try and go in here, and here we'll just say toggle nav like this as well. Same name, put in any name you want. I'll put that inside the app component right here. Just get rid of the title, I don't use that anymore. So now that I have the toggle available, let's actually save just a toggle state right here, something like that, and just make it a Boolean value like this. Now we have the toggle state, and all I want is actually when I do this .toggle state, when I click the button in the toolbar, I want the toggle state to be equal the reverse of what it already was before, right? So it's just a way to kind of switch between the two. You can also start adding true, false values, really up to you. I just want to make a simple toggle right here. But this is not enough. Now I've gotten from the toolbar, I can now send the click event through the output, right? The toggle clicked. I can send that to the component right here, and I can now change the state of the toggle inside the app components TypeScript file, but I actually want to change the state inside the toolbar, inside the nav bar. So I need to do a bit more work before I can actually do that. Now the way you can actually change the state is actually using this, which is also just an input inside the side nav bar. We're going to make our own input now. But this input right here, you can just add a Boolean value saying true or false if you want to show or hide it. Let's just put this to true right now, just to show you. If we go back to the view right now, you'll see here's the content bar, right? If I put it back to false, there we go. You'll see that now it's actually hidden again. So let's try and actually put in, instead of true and false, put in a value, toggle open, something like this. And I'll take that value and I'll actually add it in the TypeScript bar right here. And now I can, of course, do it from within here. I can say equal true or false, again, just like we did before. Let's just go back now, you'll see it there. And I want to go even further because I don't want this guy to specify it. I actually want it to be specified from the outside. So you can actually add something called input. Just like we did with the output a second ago, you can also add something called input, which pretty much means that the toggle open is now available from the outside. And that means I can now, in my app component HTML, I can actually specify that there's a new field right here called toggle open, and I want to kind of use the toggle state to pass that in. So now the app component, whenever I click the button, he's going to get an event through the toggle clicked. He's going to call his local method, toggle nav. That's going to change the state. When the state is changed, it's going to automatically send that new state using binding. It's going to send that into the nav HTML file right here and change the state right here. And then that's automatically going to set it to opened or closed in here. Wow, that was a lot going on right there. But I just wanted to show you guys that's all it kind of takes right here. And we got a working side nav. Oh, Trine is going to love these colors. See you next time. Have fun.